because I would have been here all day. Okay, so the ban on the use of plastic lunchboxes, newsflash, comes into effect tomorrow. Did you know that? However, some stakeholders are unhappy as they're unsure of how to proceed, and based on the liquor discussion we're having just now, so are we. So joining us now to get some clarity, or to give us some clarity, President of the Jamaican Manufacturers and Exporters Association, John Mafood, and operator of Bistro 23, Mikhail Dockery. Good morning to you both. Thank you for being here.
Thanks for having us.
I read this article, Sir John. It says that there is deafening silence from the government and that stakeholders are not pleased. Is that fair to say?
No, I don't think that's fair. And first of all, I'm not the president any longer.
Former.
Yeah, former.
I thought so. Okay, thank you very much for that.
The JMEA has been meeting with the Minister Samuda and his team, and they have shown a lot of flexibility in how they're approaching this. They actually intended in 2018 to ban single-use lunchboxes back in 2018, but then it was styrofoam that we were using. So they banned styrofoam lunchboxes, plastic bags, straws, and
single-use plastic bags.
And then shortly after that, business people saw that plastic lunchboxes, single-use plastic lunchboxes, were not on that list. And so that's when we started importing plastic single-use lunchboxes. So this ruling now is to correct that issue. Right. And I must say that in general, while there's a little bit of confusion and some amount of anxiety, you know, the actual banning of single-use plastic, I think, is a very good thing for Jamaica.
Our less scandal bag, right? So we've got from there was a lot of anxiety around that too. I mean, you still see one and two scandal bag around, but for the most part, the reusable bags are there. Good morning, Sydney Thwaite, current president of the JMEA, and our apologies to you, sir. Mikhail, tell me what's going on your end, because you did say during the break that there was some initial confusion with, so here we have two.
Let me hang on to one.
You hear Vanna White. Two containers, right? One is plastic, so?
Yeah.
This is what?
That's also plastic.
But it's reusable.
Yeah. That's right.
Oh, this is single use.
So reusable plastic containers are going to be okay.
Okay, so this guy is
this
cool.
one is fine.
I'm not sure about that specific one.
But one's like
but it would look like that.
Okay.
And the white one is more durable as well, so I guess it could go.
Right.
Yeah, this one
You
is
guess
more
it could go?
Yeah,
But
I'm
do you know
not
for
sure, no.
So is that not part of the problem?
That's a part of the problem as well.
Okay.
Yeah, well, so there are labels on the bottom of
but the
each
labels
of these
don't
boxes.
say what they mean.
Right, and that's just it. So what's necessary now, as I do suppose, gentlemen, is greater education, not just for you, but certainly for the public, so we can understand, because certain types of plastics can be recycled, but there are others which cannot. So I think, for example, this one, which has got the triangle with the small number 5 in the back, right there. No, I know, it's so difficult to see it. Can be reused, even though, but it's got a different label than this, this one here. So obviously, what we're saying is greater education. From your side as an entrepreneur, as an operator of a restaurant, what has the communication been like from the government and just generally? What are you noticing and learning?
Well, what I take from it is that we should not be using the plastic ones anymore. So I transitioned into paper totally. Yeah, starting from January, because the ban was supposed to take effect phasing out was supposed to, December to January. So from January I started using these.
And what has your experience been? Because you said initially there was a little bit of pushback from your customers.
It costs a little bit more, and than the plastic ones. And I mean, I like it personally. The customers didn't at first, because it keeps the food fresh to me. Yeah. And I do mostly deliveries. So, I mean, we separate starch from the meat, and, you know, you get it without it being soggy or anything. So these work for me. But at first, we had a little push, but we lost some customers at first.
You lost some customers because?
Yeah, because they just didn't like it.
Really?
You know, 2 boxes. They want it in 1 box or the double compartment box. You know. So yeah. So
but you have buy-in now?
Yeah. They're getting used to it now. And then some people actually like it. If we put the meals in 1 box now they call back and say, no, put it in 2.
Okay.
So yeah.
You won.
yeah, eventually. So I just stick with it and then they just adapted to it.
Yeah.
Mr. Mahfood, you mentioned that Jamie A has been in consultation with Minister Samuda over the period. What has the response been like, though, generally from your membership about the proposed ban, right? And just as we just point out now, the shortage of information, it would appear in some instances?
Well, you know, these things are not made in Jamaica. The plastic containers were all imported, you know. So in terms of our own membership, in terms of manufacturers, there has not been a big issue. We are users of, you know, whether our lunch providers are providing lunch and so on in plastic containers. But we represent, our members might be in the personal care business, and some of that is affected. But what we have seen is that there is, as you said, a little bit of uncertainty as to what will be allowed in, but they've been clear that if it's reusable, it's fine. Right. If it's a one-off use, which is most of the containers that are used for deliveries and so on, it's not fine, and those have to stop. And most of the importers have started making provisions to bring in paper-based lunch boxes. We have told our members if there's any uncertainty, you can call either the JMEA or the ministry to clarify where does your product fall into the mix. And remember, most of the fast food chains have already been compliant.
Correct.
Right.
And that lunchbox, that soup container there has been around for quite a long time, and that's compliant. So people have started making the transition.
Yeah. Now, with the transition to paper boxes and paper containers, is there an opportunity for local manufacturers to get into that space?
I believe so. That is possible, especially since we have paper bag manufacturers and cardboard manufacturers. I think it's something that can be looked at from a Jamaican manufacturer standpoint.
And so the anxiety that you mentioned around this imposition of the ban tomorrow would mainly be as a result of what?
Well, I think in particular the people who provide lunches and who are using the single-use plastic containers have not spoken with their suppliers. And I think their suppliers know what the situation is and have made the provisions. And so I think, and of course it's not just going to happen tomorrow, because orders placed with overseas suppliers before June, they're allowed to bring it in.
Yeah.
So it will happen sometime probably over June, July, August.
There's no grace period, right? The ban is a ban is a ban.
Yeah, on June 1. But if your importer of the plastic containers has placed their order before June, they can still bring those items in.
Gotcha.
So it'll take a little while through discussion between the suppliers and the users to clarify what it is.
Yeah, stakeholder communication, that is the key. And I think what you're saying too, Mikhail, underscores that. We have to go. A word to the folks who are in your position now, who are looking at this change on the horizon. What do you say to them?
I mean, they'll figure it out, you know. I mean, because based on their products and what they manufacture, what they're pushing out, I mean, this might be too costly for them because mine is coated. So it costs a little bit more to keep the food, you know, fresh and longer.
Gravy running out.
Yeah.
Right.
So, I mean, if you're just doing probably chips and jerk chicken, you could get a cheap alternative. Yeah. You know, but they'll figure it out.
They'll figure it out.
Yeah.
Great advice. That's it. All right, thank you very much.
Thank you, gentlemen. That was former president of the Jamaica Manufacturers and Exporters Association, John Mahfood, and operator of Bistro 23. Mikhail Dockery. After the break, we'll give you something to smile about. Hey, Sim.